If I had to start my chiropractic practice over from zero with no teams, no reputation, and no office, here are the 5 things that I would do differently. And I'm gonna save the biggest one for the end because the 5th one is not a tactic, and it's the one that will determine whether any of the tactics actually work. What's up? I'm Dr. Daniel Kimbley, and this is the Profitable Chiro Network, where we help chiropractors build practices with the right spirit, not driven by money, driven by people, so that we can change more lives. So here are the 5 things that I would do if I had to start over. Number 1, pre-sell before you ever open your practice. Before I ever signed a lease, before I ever worried about decor in my office, I would try to pre-sell memberships or packages. If I could get 5 people on some type of legacy membership before I ever open my practice, that would create recurring revenue that would give me a runway so that my first day in practice wasn't stressful, hoping and praying that I would have new clients. So early on, the problem is not that you're a bad chiropractor. It's actually that you have no financial runway. So every decision becomes a desperate one. So just a couple weeks ago, I was coaching a doc in practice who had just started up, and they were spending $2,000 a month in ads. And his revenue that first month was $2,700. So here's the problem with that, is that $700 of profit, which is actually going to be eaten up by the overhead, doesn't make it sustainable. That's not business. That's just straight up stress. So here's what's wild. Even though the doc believed in care plans, he had each of the people inside of his office paying visit by visit, and he saw no other way except to keep spending $2,000 on ads to hopefully get more people that would stay with him for longer. And here's what I told him. It's really simple, is that if he would have even had 80% of the people who started with him, instead of paying visit by visit on plans, he would have doubled his income literally instantaneously. And here's the best part. It's not just about revenue in month 1. It becomes month 2, month 3, and beyond, especially if your retention is really, really solid. Number 2, you gotta build retention first. Most docs, most practices obsess over outreach, getting new clients, not focused on keeping people. But if you focus on retention, you're not only going to grow, but you're going to stabilize. And when you stabilize, you can scale without burning out. But if your bucket leaks, you're pouring time and money into a hole. Retention is not a later conversation. It should be the foundation of the conversation. So here's a crazy idea. Create a place that people actually want to come back to. One of the things where I see chiros really struggle is that their offices are a mess. Spider webs, overflowing trash cans, things not organized. And how many times have you been in another restaurant or another place when you just get this like gross feeling because things just don't seem right, or they're not organized, or it feels like chaos? Take a step around the counter for yourself and look and see, what do your clients, what do your patients see when they step foot into your office? And I guarantee you that by looking at it from the patient's point of view, you'll actually solve a lot of your problems. Number 3, know your numbers like the back of your hand. Most chiros don't actually have a solid hold on their business. They say things like, I think our average is, or I'm pretty sure we collected about, but they don't have a specificity in the numbers that they actually have inside of their business. If you want the 3 numbers or metrics that I would master first, here they are. This will nearly guarantee whether you have a healthy practice or not. Number 1, average visit income, or AVI, which simply means how much does the average person who steps foot in your office pay you per visit. Number 2, PVA, which is patient visit average. And all this means is how many times does the average person who steps into your office come back again? And number 3, really simple, new patients. How many new patients do you have from month to month to month? Here's the reality. Feelings don't scale, numbers do. And here's what's crazy. It's not hard to get these numbers. People just don't take the time to actually do it and think about it in the first place. If you don't currently track these numbers inside your business, but you're curious on how to do it and exactly how to calculate them, I put together a simple Google Sheet that I'll share with you directly. Just DM me at Dr. Daniel Kimbley and say financial health, and I'll send it right over to you. No questions asked. If I could go back, I would have worried less about my office colors, less about my logos, less about our interior design, and I would have focused more on building office systems. Systems for how people start care, how you communicate recommendations, how you get referrals, and how your team runs a week without you having to hold everything in your head on your own. The reality is that most doctors, they don't actually have a business problem. What they really have is a systems problem. And systems, I promise you, will create so much peace. Here's what gets me excited about systems. So when you build good systems, you put someone else responsible for a task. And when you put somebody else responsible for a task, guess what you don't have to do? That task. And if you want an advanced strategy, once someone is responsible for that task, they can build out the systems or the SOP for you so that now someone else is starting to build your SOPs on your team in a way that is efficient, and it frees you up to either see more people or go market so you can bring more people into your practice. And number 5, as I promised, this one is not a hack. This is the one that literally will make everything else work. Are you ready for it? It's owner's mentality. And I put this one last because this is the real issue. You can have the right pricing, you can have the right packages, you can know your numbers, and you can be really, really good at running ads. But if you don't have conviction and a mindset, I promise you people will feel it. Because in our culture, nowadays especially, people's BS meter is so finely tuned. So many chiros are trying to convince people to get under care plans that those chiros aren't even committed to for themselves. I know docs that go 1 month, 2 months, even 3 months without ever getting adjusted, but they're asking their same patients or getting frustrated with their same patients who they're not coming in once or twice a week. And I'm like, if you really believed in chiropractic, the way that you say you do and the way that you push on other people, it literally doesn't make sense. And here's why it matters, because conviction is not just a simple belief. It actually requires one thing, and it's the hardest thing to do, and that is take action. People can smell uncertainty, and certainty in what you do is what ultimately is going to create trust. And I would wrap all of this under what I call the owner's mentality. And those are certainty, confidence, clarity, leadership, integrity, and for me personally, obedience to God and how I steward very specifically what He has given me. And leadership, that's a whole other conversation in and of itself. I used to think that leadership was hiring somebody to come work for me, and that person earning a salary or working hourly for me was going to get paid so that they could help make me more money. But the reality is that leadership is about rising all boats and lifting everyone up. I want my team to make more money. And at the same time, we want our clients to get even better results. It's a win-win-win for everybody involved. So here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about when I talk about owner's mentality. So when I graduated from chiropractic school in 2017, one of the things that I was told and that the California websites say and that people in this space already told me is that it takes at least 3 months to get your chiropractic license. But the day after I graduated, I was overnighting paperwork to the California Board of Chiropractic. Why was I doing that? Because I was willing to take action and do things to ensure my future as much as I possibly could. And what happened is instead of 3 months or 6 months that we're told it takes to get our license, I got my license in less than 30 days. So I graduated from chiropractic school in December of 2017. January 30th, is when I got my license of 2018. And January 31st, we signed the lease for our space here in Dana Point, California. Not because I'm special. It's literally because I was willing to take action and push myself and do things that seemed hard or seemed challenging, but I was focused on the right things instead of waiting for someone else to determine my fate or determine my destiny. And in that window of doing those things, if I could do it over again, I would do the exact 5 steps that I talked about above. I would literally be meeting people, but not only just meeting them, but trying to get them to get under a package with me so that I could establish recurring revenue. I would obviously be looking at my leadership and my team quite differently. And I 100% for sure would have been focused on building systems that were going to sustain my practice so I wasn't running trying to put out fires when we started seeing people on day 1. So if I had to start over, here are the 5 things that I would do. Number 1, pre-sell memberships before opening. Number 2, focus on retention before outreach. Number 3, know your numbers, AVI, PVA, and new patients. 4, systems over aesthetics. And lastly, the one that ties them all together is the owner's mentality. If any of this hit you or stuck out to you in a certain way, I would love for you to leave a comment below. Tell me what stood out the most and tell me what was most impactful for you. I read every single comment and I will reply to all of them. And if you're a doc looking to build something real, then I would encourage you to subscribe to the Profitable Chiro Network. We're here to help you build a chiropractic practice with the right spirit and the right strategy that prioritizes people over income so that we can change the world with the care that we provide.